Looking for these better days.
It is Wednesday, May 20th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. A historic comeback for the New York Knicks as they take game one of the Eastern Conference Finals 115-104 in overtime from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day presented by FanDuel. Mackenzie, we had a double overtime game in game one of the Western Conference Finals, an overtime game here in game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. A great 2 nights of basketball for the NBA.
The symmetry between 1 year ago, watching the Pacers with the most miraculous, we'll never see this again, especially not at this stage of the playoffs, comeback, ridiculous shot that hits four sides of the rims. Everything symmetrically comes around again with that Shamet shot to send it into overtime, hitting every single side of the rim. Amazing game. And Chris, here on NBA Philippines, I was watching Chris Haynes, generally very strong analysis, but he made the point eventually the Knicks were going to be the Knicks and they were going to return to the same Knicks that had won 8 straight games and had blown everybody out. I very much disagree. And I think this is the superpower of a great team. And it's not that they return to their old selves, it's that they have another gear, the same gear that they've been relying on probably too much for years, and that's one Jalen Brunson, who had 15 points and 2 assists and every big bucket down the stretch. You look at the other members of the Big Four, Anunoby, Towns, Hart, Bridges, all 13 points. Well, Bridges had 18 points. Brunson, 38 points, restaking his claim. I know Willis Reed has a pretty strong claim as the greatest Knick of all time. I mean, this is a decade, a half a decade now of putting the cape on and it actually working, and they're going to make their first finals mainly because of him.
Well, if they win the finals, he goes down as the greatest Knick of all time.
That's a big leap.
To
Willis
deliver
Reed
a
did that twice.
championship to this team. Hey, Walt Frazier has something to say about that as well. But Brunson in that fourth quarter just kept on going at James Harden. The Knicks came back from 22 points down in the fourth quarter. They had an 18-1 run right in that fourth quarter. And when I say continuously won at James Harden, this is a great tweet from. Yeah, this is a great tweet from the All NBA podcast. James Harden allowed the most points per direct isolation in a single quarter since the stat has been created in the tracking era. In the fourth quarter, he guarded Jalen Brunson on 8 isolations, and he allowed 1.88 points per isolation. Again, that is the most points per direct isolation allowed in a single quarter where a player defended 8 or more isolations. And this is the tweet that they sent. Quote, guarding 8 isolations in a single quarter is something. It has happened only 30 times, regular season or playoffs, in the entire tracking era. And the Knicks got Harden to switch into 9 isolations in the fourth quarter and overtime and scored 1.9 points per direct action against James Harden. Smart to leave your worst defender just on the best scorer on the opposing team, right?
I wonder if the psychology of we're probably going to win this game. I don't want to, give Brunson any extra confidence, because it's not that they just went down the court and said, hey, Harden, you got Brunson and see what happens. But they very, very casually switched every single time. Whoever's guarding Harden would set a screen. Harden would switch. That was the playbook. It had been working 3 quarters in. But you think you'd have to make an adjustment, because it was Mike Brown said it in his post-game interview. We made an adjustment. We decided to go after Harden every single time. I'm not sure why you're not blitzing, or just take Harden off the floor. You don't need points at that point. You just have to not give up 30 in the last 7 minutes and you walk out of there with a win.
I'm glad you just brought that up. Like, that's the thing. Like, I know we talk about it all the time where it's like, we hate when teams play not to lose and they don't play to win. You are up you're up 22 points in the fourth quarter. You don't need scoring. You don't need James Harden to hit a step back 3. What you need is just to not allow an 18-1 run. And that's what they allowed to happen. So,
and I bet they thought, well, we're going to give Harden, the benefit of the doubt. He's going to feel better that he's going to get some stops at the end of the game. Playing, I don't know, is that playing not to lose? It's just kind of assuming that you have it in the bank at that point.
Just
As we've seen the
unbelievable.
last two game ones of the Eastern
Yeah.
Conference Finals, never say never.
Yep, and the Knicks, they went on a 9-0 run to start the overtime period and just continued to just take over the game. We did cash on a couple of bets last night, a couple of live bets as well for Better Day Premium members. We played the over 203.5 at the end of the first quarter, which was alarmingly low scoring, and it was going to hit no matter what happened at the end of regulation because it was 101-101. So even if what's his face Merrill hit that shot, it would have
Yeah.
cashed, right? And then at the end of the third quarter, played the Knicks live plus 10.5. Wish I would have played him on the money line. That would have been a nice cash. But two live bets that cashed for Better Day Premium members. Better Day Insider members went 2-2 last night. We fortunately got the Knicks to cover the spread. We cashed the Karl Anthony Towns assist prop, which was, this is the greatest bet we've ever made. Shout out David Behrman, Betting with Behrman podcast, also part of the Believe Podcast Network. David, I'm sure we'll do another pod coming up either this week or next week. But we've been cashing this every game of the Knicks playoffs. It's like, and
Yeah.
if you've been listening to this podcast, you've been cashing it as well. The Knicks offense has changed ever since they lost those two games to Atlanta. They run the offense now through Karl Anthony Towns at the top of the key. Point Towns is a real thing, Mackenzie.
Yeah, 5 assists. He did end up with 7 turnovers because although that was plan A, it wasn't working great, and they had to go kind of to plan B, which was Brunson hero ball. But um, that's a desperation move, and that's the reason why Brunson's really had bad games as 5, 6, and 7 to end the last few playoffs is because you can't do that every game. You can do
Mhm.
that one game, and Karl Anthony Towns led the league in player efficiency rating in the playoffs entering this game for a reason. They definitely have unlocked something with him. More turnovers than assists. You can do that every now and then. James Harden, now I think that's what 36 games, more
Yeah.
turnovers than field goals in a game. It's every game. It's
Well,
he didn't have a great game 7 and a pretty bad game 1. So the,
nope.
the Harden truthers, you're going to have to make the finals before we believe you. It's an uphill battle.
I love being proved right. It's been years now. It's like he hasn't proved me wrong yet, Mackenzie. The
Gift
thing
that
about
keeps on giving.
the thing about the Towns bet last night was that the prop was 4.5, and he cashed with the 5 assists, right? And because he only had 5 assists last night, the prop for game 2 is not going to get taxed. It's going to be four and a
Right.
half once again, and we're going to just go back to the well, and he's probably going to have 7+ assists in game number 2. So I'm very happy about that. The two props that we lost last night, we had Josh Hart over 12.5 rebounds and assists. He finished with 11 because he was very inefficient in the game yesterday, and especially defensively, to the point where Mike Brown kept him off the floor in pretty much the entire fourth quarter in favor of Landry Shamet, who was a plus 25 when he was on the floor, including a couple of big 3-pointers down the stretch.
Yeah, when you have a Derrick Rose type hero ball, you want a spot up shooter more than you want an all around gadget guy like Hart. Minus 23 in 31 minutes, Hart, almost the exact opposite, plus 25 for Shamit. But
Yep.
I'm not sure that means they're going to say, all right, Shamit over Hart the rest of the way.
No,
Because that
no.
was, again, a very desperate, like, we need to make all our threes type mode.
Yes.
Hart, I think, will bounce back and play his normal allotment of minutes going forward.
I agree. And I'm going to go back to the well with the rebounds and assist prop in game number 2. And then the other bet that we had was over 6.5 rebounds for Mitchell Robinson, and he only got 6 rebounds. So we finished 1 rebound shy there. And a lot of it had to do with just restricted minutes. With the Knicks trailing by so much, you're gonna load up minutes for, Karl Anthony Towns played 40 minutes last night.
Yeah, you got to play your offensive players.
Exactly. Like if the Knicks are winning and dominating like they've been all playoffs, then Mitchell Robinson's going to play 23 minutes. Let's just look at some of his game logs here over the playoffs. 19 minutes, 16 minutes. I guess that's 18 minutes. Still, he's played more than 14. But yeah, it was also limited offenses last night, limited shots. So good game by the Knicks. Good comeback by the Knicks. Good game, 3 and a little bit quarters from the Cavaliers. Maybe actually a good 2 quarters, I would say,
Yeah.
from the Cleveland
I think it
Cavaliers.
also, even though, it's a pretty lucky cover to win in overtime and cover six and
Yeah.
a half. The trend of it's tough to play a game 7 versus a fully rested team. We kind of
Yeah.
saw both sides of it. The Knicks made like 2 of 23s to start. Got to say that's probably some rust. But it's just a better position to have the rest in your advantage down the stretch.
Well, yeah, and that's and maybe that's where the rest comes into play is in the fourth quarter, right? And especially in overtime. Like the Cavs
Yeah.
were gassed in that fourth quarter and overtime. Well, let's take a look at the line for game number 2 tomorrow night up on FanDuel. Mackenzie, the Knicks 6.5-point favorites, so no movement in the line here from game number 1. Total is down though a bit to 14.5 for game number 2 tomorrow night.
I think if they're playing the style that we've seen throughout the playoffs, and Karl Anthony Towns is at the top of the key, and Brunson is one of their scoring options, this could go well over. And game twos are, of any of the games, the most over-prone games. I think it was a lot to do with the rust of the Knicks, and then towards the end of the game, the fatigue of the Cavs. So I think both of those are kind of ameliorated in game two. I think the total adjustment might be something to look at. I think it goes over. I think the spread was correct. I wouldn't expect much of a movement, and we haven't seen much.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's kind of like the same thing with the Thunder and the Spurs, and we'll get to that game now. Is that there's no adjustment? I mean, the game went to overtime. That means the line was pretty much right. I mean, maybe in favor of the dog, you can say that it sways a little bit, but then you also have to factor in the zigzag then with the team that didn't cover in the favorite. In this case, in tonight's game, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder who lost outright in game number 1. They are back to being 6.5-point favorites tonight against the San Antonio Spurs. Total is 216.5. Thunder actually closed as 7.5-point favorites by the time we got the tip-off of game number 1. I've already placed the bet here for tonight. We did it as soon as game number 1 ended. It's the bet that we've been doing all playoffs long, Mackenzie, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first quarter. We back the team that loses the game in the previous game and is favored in the next game, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. And we've been hot with these first quarter bets up on betterday.com. So we're going to continue to play our system, and let's go Thunder first quarter. We already played the money line. Obviously, you can, shop around and see what price you can get right now. Up on FanDuel, first quarter money line for this game tonight is going to be the Thunder minus 168. So it's definitely gone up. First quarter spread, Thunder minus 1.5, minus 122.
Let me pull up the Thunder here because I like your trend in general. I know you've been red hot with it. I think the Thunder, especially in the SGA era, are good off a loss in the playoffs, especially early. I remember against the Nuggets, they blow that game 1 a couple years ago or last year, end up winning the next game by 40. So let's see.
So what would you say? Just the last 3 years, you're saying? So like since the start of the 2024
last 3
season?
seasons. So the championship season, the year before that, when they put. Yeah.
So the 2023 season, 2024 season, and this season. The Thunder, after the loss in the playoffs, are 9-2 straight up, 8-3 against the spread. In the first quarter, though, 7-4 straight up, 6-5 against the spread.
Okay, so it's been a little bit closer. They are winning those first quarters by 5 points per game. So it's pretty dominant first quarter, but I guess the spreads have been closer. It's always going to be more.
But we have to. Hey, Mackenzie, we got to do a little. You got to do a little refiner, okay?
What? Right.
When the Thunder are favored in the game after the loss, okay, so they're coming off of a loss in the playoffs in the last 2+ seasons. They're favored in that next game. For the full game, they are 8-0 straight up, 6-2 against the spread. In the first quarter, they are 5-3 straight up and against the spread.
Let's refine it even more. How about at home in the first quarter? At home and favored, 5-0 straight up in ATS for the game, winning by 28 points per game. I know your tool can show the first quarter.
Oh my goodness!
Is it good?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That is incredible. And by the way, it's 6-2 straight up in the first quarter, 5-3 ATS in the first quarter. So the first quarter money line is actually a 6-2 trend. So we want to isolate that to the home favorites, and 4-1 straight up in the first quarter. Oh boy, yeah. We like to fine tune things, Mackenzie. We like to fine tune things.
And I think it makes sense to refine it in this situation. Mark Daigneault has the best ATS of any coach I've ever seen. It's 60%. It's 65% at home in his tenure. He's been unbelievable in Oklahoma, as have the rest of the Thunder. De'Aaron Fox comes back. Stephen Castle kind of took over that starting point guard role and had 11 turnovers, which was a record for any San Antonio Spur in any playoff game. So I think there's going to be a little bit of, not trying to step on anybody's toes. I would look for Castle to go under because he doesn't want to turn over the ball 11 times. Andy Aaron Fox was like, this is how you do it, young man. So that's another angle to look at. But I think the Spurs maybe make this a game late, but I definitely think the Thunder, first of all, win and break it open early.
I like the Thunder to win. I like them obviously to break it open early. Do we want to lay the 6.5 for the game?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's just there's been I mean,
We talked
if
about this
of
all
the two
season.
sides, I would take that one, but I like the first quarter more.
Yeah, the first quarter is the play. That's the edge. But we talked about this all season, Mackenzie. Like, we asked the question, do the Thunder have a Spurs problem? The answer is clearly yes.
Right.
They have a Spurs
Exactly.
problem.
There's no other team. I mean, they have how many losses on the season? Like 18? And like 5 of them are against Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. He takes the second best defender at his position in the league, Chet Holmgren, and makes him look bad. Can score against them at will. They throw Alex Caruso on him. They double him. And he does the exact opposite thing on offense. He takes one of the best offensive players in the league and makes him have his worst game of the season in the most important game of the season. I think you got to say he's the best player in the league, and he's quickly rising up the charts in terms of all-time peak for me. I've never seen anything like it.
We knew he was a freak. We knew he was an alien. We knew that it didn't make sense for a guy of his size to be as good as he is. I think, honestly, I thought that the Spurs were like a couple of years away, right? I didn't think they'd be this good.
Me too.
I didn't think they'd be this good this fast. I also didn't know that Wemby would be this good this fast. And what I think has led to this postseason success is the run through the Olympics last year. For Wemby to lead France to a gold medal battle with the United States, not just a gold medal game, but a gold medal battle with the United States, really showed that at his young age, he was ready for the grandest of stages. And now here in the NBA playoffs, he is not shy to the moment. Like, he has embraced it. He has overperformed, and I don't think there's an argument. Like, he's the best player in the world right now.
When he pulled up from 35 feet, or 30 feet, I thought it was going in. And he wants it. He wants that heat. Like, of all, I think that's got to be one of the furthest threes he's taken all season. And he didn't hesitate. Yeah. He got exactly to his spot. He knew where Caruso was going to line up, and he tied the game and gave him a chance to win.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable stuff. Let's take a look at the awards market right now. To win the Western Conference Finals MVP, Victor Wembanyama has overtaken Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Makes sense. Spurs have a 1-game-to-none lead. Wemby minus 105 up on FanDuel. SGA is even money. And in the Eastern Conference, Jalen Brunson minus 220. Our Karl-Anthony Towns 10-1 bet is now 11-1. Hey, we still have 3 more games the Knicks have to win. Maybe it's 3 games of Karl-Anthony Towns and he could steal it from Jalen Brunson. But hey, that performance last night was absolutely incredible. If you had to make a bet on the Western Conference Finals MVP, would you take Shai at even money right now?
So the Thunder are still favored to win the series, right? Like barely? It's like minus one.
The Thunder are still favored to win the series, yes. They are like minus 115.
So, I mean, I think it's a lock that he's going to win it. I don't see Jalen Williams, even if he had a better game one, being better over 7 games. I think I would take Wemby. I think the Spurs win this series, and I think there's more of a chance that someone other than SGA could win it if the Thunder win than anyone else besides Wemby win it. I mean, the second best player wasn't even on the court in game 1 in the biggest win of the season, and we forgot about it.
Would you make a bet right now, Wemby plus 170 to win the NBA Finals MVP, or Jalen Brunson plus 500 to win the NBA Finals MVP?
I would take Wemby. I mean, it's such a phenomenon, like internationally, like people here talking about it. I think there's that chance of the Spurs not even winning it and him winning it. And if they win it, it's going to be a coronation. It's pretty close to their title odds, plus 170.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'd rather have Wemby in my pocket.
Do you agree with the statement that I made on yesterday morning's podcast that the Spurs, we already know that they've arrived, but teams in the Western Conference and players in the Western Conference have now been put on notice. The Thunder aren't going anywhere, and the Spurs have just gotten here. The Western Conference will run through Oklahoma City and San Antonio for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast, and he did like 40 minutes with the owner of the Jazz, which I thought was one of the most obnoxious infomercials I've ever seen on any content. And they didn't ask him the
I
question.
promise you we don't tank. I promise you we didn't lose on
They
purpose.
they didn't even really discuss that, which was frustrating because as an NBA fan, I don't care about how nice the tech scene is in Salt Lake City. I want to know, put this guy on notice. But Wemby is why you're right to tank, because for years we've been saying the Thunder have all these picks. They have the best player in the league or a top 5 player in the league. How can anyone catch up with them? You have to hope that the next Michael Jordan is 17 year right now, and you have a chance of getting him. So
Yep.
this is why, this is this is why there is no chance. Without the players in the league currently do not have a chance to catch up with the Thunder and the Spurs. So that tells you how you can do it, and it's not next year. It's probably in a couple of years.
I completely agree. From the NBA playoffs to the Stanley Cup playoffs we go, where finally the Western Conference Finals will begin. It'll be the Vegas Golden Knights at the Colorado Avalanche tonight, and Colorado is a heavy favorite on home ice, minus 196. VGK up on FanDuel plus 162. Total is 6.5, juiced to the under. And looking at the odds for this series, Mackenzie, the Avalanche minus 285, the Vegas Golden Knights plus 230. But the spread in the series, I think, is very interesting. You can get Colorado minus a game and a half plus 128, VGK plus a game and a half at even money. Does VGK either win the series? I'm going to tell you right now, you can get this bet. Would you take even money that VGK either wins the series or forces a game 7?
I like that. I like the fact that we have 3 home games. We're going to protect the fortress. We might steal one, we might not, but yeah, we're going to force them to beat us at the full distance. I like what is that? Even, you said even money? I like
it's even money. Now let's do the math here, because this is why I think there's value. There's actually value on this. The total games for the series, the price is over 5.5 minus 188. So it is a heavy favorite that this series goes 6 games. Okay, so that's telling me that VGK has to win too. If you're already telling me that there's what's the implied probability of minus 190? That's got to be 70 something. I'm so bad at this. You know what?
65%, just the clean math with no VIG involved.
You see, this is why you went to Yale. What I was going to do was just simply look at the implied probability calculator up on betterday.com, which is free to use. If you go to our website, betterday.com, you click on calculators. There's a parlay calculator, a hedge calculator, an expected value calculator, and a break-even calculator. And inside that EV calculator is an implied probability calculator. So at minus 190 odds, the implied probability is 65.52%. It's a great job, Mackenzie, out of you. Just an incredible job. So if there's a 65% chance that Vegas wins 2 games, can I and that's at minus 188. You're telling me I have 88 cents of value that VGK just wins 1 additional game.
I like it. So
is my math mathing right now? Or am I just talking? Am I just blowing smoke out of my rear end? I feel like my math is mathing.
So they're saying it's 65.5% that they win 2, but only 50% that they win 3 or more?
Yes. Yeah.
I think the math is mathing. That makes sense to me. I mean, it seems like about in line. I don't think their calculators are wrong, but I'll take the 50-50 shot.
And let's think about that. Let's think about what the odds would be. So if let's say game number 1 right now is the Knights are obviously a dog. They're plus 162 on the road, right? So they're probably going to be similar odds for game number 2. Game number 3 at home, I don't know if they flip to a favorite or if it's going to be a small dog. So let's just call it a small dog. Let's call it plus 105, right? At plus 105 on a small home dog, I know everyone's like, stop doing math on this show. It's stupid. It's essentially like a 49% chance that they win a home game, right? But they're already telling us that it's 65.5% that they win 2 games, we know that they have 3 home games in this series. Well, actually, I apologize. We're not guaranteed that third home game. Okay. But actually, we are. If they win 2 games in the series, we are guaranteed the third home game. What am I?
Right.
No.
There's
Well,
the
no.
because we don't care what happens
yeah,
in a game 7, we can say it's equal amount
exactly.
of home games and road games. So
Exactly.
the average between them is about a 42% chance to win. If you have 6 trials, a 42% chance in any of those trials, the chances you get 3 successes, it's about 49%.
I feel like I mean, I know this was like a long walk for a small drink of water, but I do feel like the math just maths there. VGK plus a goal and a half at even money, or actually, if you can find better than even money, is a good bet to make.
Yeah, game plus a game and a half.
Yes.
We're not going out like that.
No, ain't going down like that. What you could do actually though is let's see what the market is up on FanDuel for the alternate series spread. VGK plus 2.5 games. Now this is minus 250. That seems awfully juiced. Plus 2.5 games seems awfully juiced. I don't know if I'd want to lay that. I mean, minus 250. I don't know if I'd want to lay that.
No. I mean, it's not like the Avalanche have been rolling in the regular season as much as they have in the playoffs, but they could have it in them.
Yeah. Let's go VGK. Let's win a series. Let's go back to the Cup. I want to go see it. It'll be nice.
Do that.
Let's do it. We'll talk more about the Carolina Hurricanes and the Montreal Canadiens. Game 1 of that series is going to be tomorrow. We do have a system that we will be playing in that game. It does involve the total. If you're a longtime listener, you're well aware of that system. Major League Baseball, today is Wednesday, which means that we will have a live stream episode of the Off the Board podcast. Colby Marchio and Jake Hassan will be streaming on the Better Day YouTube account and the Better Day Twitter page, and they will be going through the entire slate of games here on this Wednesday of Major League Baseball. There are several day games, which does mean that we always look for our sweep avoidance systems. Teams looking to avoid a 3-game sweep, and here on your day schedule in Major League Baseball, we have 3 such games that present themselves. The Cubs taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Actually, that's a night game. That is the Cubs. It's a 7:40 Eastern time start tonight. Also, with the 3-game sweep possibility, Royals, Red Sox, and Orioles, Rays. Royals and Red Sox is also a night game, 7:40 Eastern time. The Rays game is actually a day game in Tampa with Shane Baz, former Ray, on the mound for the Baltimore Orioles, and Jesse Schlotens on the mound for the Tampa Bay Rays. That is a game that I will look to play the under in. For those following at home, the sweep avoidance unders this year are cashing at 61%, 54, 37, and 4 to the under this season. And I do love day games more so than night games when it comes to these unders. I'll actually filter this to do the start time prior to, 4 o'clock Eastern time.
Sure. Good old 1600.
Yeah, the old 1600 military time. That seems like a good filter to do here. And if we do that, let's see. We are at same exact thing, 60% to the under. So,
but a smaller sample. Wait, that's not.
But good. A smaller sample, yes. So it's something that we love doing. We will continue to do it, and I'm going to be looking at the under for the Orioles and the Rays here today. Total is at 8.5 minus 120 to the under. Don't forget to follow us across all of your social media channels. We are working on some really cool things, like we always do on the website, but my brain is starting to get into football mode, Mackenzie. Obviously, the schedule was released. We're starting to, place a little bets here and there, things that we find that we're okay locking up our money for months and months at a time, right? There might have been a drive to Arizona here or there. But we are working on some cool things, including a new way to view and utilize the Trench Report each week up on betterday.com. So I can't wait till that is out and we gear up towards football season. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.